As humans, we're so used to thinking about these sort of 3 to 5 year cycles and the corporate cycles, and landscape recovery is a long-term vision thinking.
So nature-based solutions are solutions inspired by nature, where we actually use different nature features like forest, wetlands, soil improvement, and etc. to kind of work towards nature. So we're basically trying to tackle down climate changes and increase the resilience of climate changes by using those solutions. If we have a flood protection as an example, we might think about like very big concrete barrier or something like that, but it's not like that. We can also do flood protection using a forest, wetlands, improving the soil permeability and other different nature features that are more adaptable actually for the area we want to assess. And also, like I would say, when we implement them, it's much easier to control project, I would say, because we don't need to ruin something to build something. We can just adapt them to the regions, areas, cities, or even small points like where we are now, basically.
Historically, this was heavily grazed by sheep at really high stocking densities. This was supported through government subsidies that incentivise farmers to have a large amount of livestock on their land, and for us it was sheep. Over time, when Merlin came back here, he realised that actually it was not supporting biodiversity at all, and it wasn't having the economic implications to help their farm business thrive. So we wanted to explore different ways of managing the land that would help diversify that farm business. We are actively planting 40,000 trees, and these are a mixture of predominantly oak, but also rowan, hazel, birch and alder, some of those pioneer species that help this habitat grow and thrive. You know, ultimately it is the oaks that support all these species, and they are the heart of the woodland. And yeah, they are our richest terrestrial habitat for biodiversity in the UK.
From an economic point of view, most of the time those solutions doesn't need maintenance. So those expensive things that we invest when we build, for example, dams, to maintain that dam in a place, we don't have that with the nature-based solutions. Of course, someone needs to look after a forest, looking like is there any pests or anything else, but that's way less expensive than other solutions we have, like through hard engineering. So I would say it's cost benefit is always on the side of the nature-based solutions.
As well as being cost-effective, a nature-based solution can reduce both flooding and droughts in the same area.
When you think about, like, for example, that we will have more floods and more droughts in the same time in different regions of the world, or even in like areas like Devon, so then we can use nature-based solutions to tackle down both. As I mentioned before, wooded debris dams are quite nice solution because imagine during the flood, they just like slow down the flood water, and then we have more time to adapt our communities downstream for the flood wave. And also during the droughts, they will create small pools around behind them. And then like that will allow the animals and all other creatures to survive those droughts.
With the UK's shrinking ecosystems, it's important to assess how much natural capital we have left and how our society benefits from it.
So natural capital assessment is used by the government, businesses or different companies just to assess the value of the nature into their activities. And by assessing the value in nature, for example, I mean when the company needs a water supply, clean water supply, they might look into how to supply water from the wetlands rather than invest into something that's very expensive. So basically working in favor of nature rather than against it.
There are many ways businesses can get involved, both with direct action and with indirect action by utilising their workforce.
If we talk about like businesses that do building stuff and kind of like building houses or even like facilities, they can do a lot of different green roofs, harvest the rainwater and stuff like that. But I think a main power of of big organizations like University of Exeter or any other organization you think through in industry is that they have a lot of people involved in an organization. So these people can act as a very good asset in, for example, seeding trees, implementing nature-based solutions in the areas they live. And also, like, if you think about an organization that has 90,000 people, imagine just half of them seed one tree, like that's a lot. So I think it's more about, when I think about businesses, it's more like to engage them in the right direction, what they can do, because we have quite high targets in the terms of like how many trees do we want, how we want to implement nature-based solutions. So I think we all need to engage to deliver that target, basically.
To find out how the University of Exeter can support your organization's climate and nature actions, please visit greenfuturesolutions.com.